Funding for D-News has been provided by the Cal and Lucille Rudman Institute for Entertainment Industry Studies.
Coming up, the urban center shines and the lady dragons smoke on this episode of D-News.
Hi, I'm Courtney Thomas, and we're here at the incredible Urban Center. This is where the Antoinette Westphal College of Media Arts and Design recently threw a party to end all parties.
Ever since the announcement of the Urban Center back in 2009, Drexel University has really focused on a new creative space for a variety of majors in the Westphal College of Media Arts and Design. And with that, the opening quickly filled up with students, faculty, alumni, and friends.
So how do you guys like the addition of the Urban Center to the Drexel campus?
As a digital media department, we have all types of new toys to play with here. Like, we have this nice little green screen room and motion capture stuff, and we used to have to share it with the film department. So now that we have our own toys to play with whenever we want to play with them, it's really great.
I really like it, actually, because it's just different. And people have compared it to Hogwarts, which is pretty cool.
It's impressive. I mean, I haven't seen a building like this before.
I can't think of it as an addition. I went to school at Nesbitt, so this is just beyond. It just makes you want to do it all over again.
I agree. Very impressive, beautiful space. Gets the creative juices flowing.
It didn't take long for the visitors to start enjoying all the ongoing events. The Westphal communities did a fantastic job of showcasing the strength of their programs and the students in them.
How do you like the interior design and just walking around it? What were your reactions?
It's very modern. It's very functional. I like the idea of having these sliding wall panels to display the work.
It feels like this kind of big building of creativity. It has a very open design.
In the old building, you were kind of stuck and only hung out with graphic designers and whatever your major was, so it's kind of cool to interact with everyone else.
It's nice to think that all the students are going to get to work, bounce off of each other. We kind of did that in the elevators in the old days, so I would say that the redesign is pretty special.
The grand opening was a great success, with everyone who attended having loved the new building and everything it has to offer. For DUTV News, I'm Andre Spilari.
There are also big things happening across the street where actors are performing The Grapes of Wrath. Reporter Julia Timko has more.
There's another new space at Drexel. The Drexel players are hard at work putting on a production of the classic play The Grapes of Wrath at the new Black Box Theater.
Students really wanted to do something political, and we had gotten down to 2 shows, and I just think that the Great Depression is very similar to what we're going through right now, and the same struggles that they faced back then are the same struggles we face right now. So it just seems to be the perfect piece to sort of talk about issues that we're having today. Black Box is really exciting. It really challenges us to be as creative and really using our imaginations as much as possible. It also requires the acting to be extremely honest and real, and it's a great training ground. It's the best place to learn how to act. I did a lot of sort of small intimate space theater when I was young, and there's just nothing more engaging for the audience, and so as an actor, the responsibility of being truthful is really, really important.
It ain't our baby, we can go.
Scream. Sure, you can go. Go on. What the hell's stopping you?
Good. So that was that?
The Grapes of Wrath is based on a John Steinbeck novel, and it follows the Joad family as they escape the Dust Bowl and go to California during the Great Depression. If you come see the show, keep a lookout for all the talented musicians in the cast. They will be playing throughout the night.
Grapes of Wrath has been around for a very long time. I had to read it in high school, like a lot of people, but I think this play really brings out the best in the novel without, bogging it down with all the Steinbeck details. I think it really sells the point and the theme of the book without, smacking the audience with morals.
I just love being in this new space. It has infinite possibilities for us, and the theater program has a little bit more time in it, so we can do the things that we want to do when we want to do them, and stuff that's a little bit more cutting edge because it's small, so we don't have to worry about drawing 400 people per night. The audience sizes will be more like 100 to 125, which I think is very doable for us. And we really like doing creative, edgy work.
The Grapes of Wrath runs from May 10th through May 25th. For D News, I'm Julia Timko.
And while we're celebrating big things here on campus, how about those Lady Dragons, NIT champs?
Play. Messer, side out. Do not foul here. Messer to Plouffe. She has an open look from 3. It's so good. Drexel wins. Drexel wins. The Dragons are the women's NIT champions. Drexel beat Utah.
It was a moment to remember. The Drexel women's basketball team held on to beat Utah in a thriller 46-43 and won the women's NIT championship. Later, Coach Denise Dillon reflected on the team's formula for success.
Actually, their determination from the beginning. I met with this team early September, and I looked at them figuring out what we had, losing 4 seniors last year, and they looked back and said, we're going to be good this year. So I think just their confidence, their willingness to work together, and pure determination.
And pure determination was mixed with pure fear as the final game came down to the last shot.
Well, the girl shot the ball in my face, so if that went in, I don't know what I would have done because that happened a game in the beginning of the season. So when she missed that, it was just a relief, like, oh my gosh, thank goodness she missed that.
Thank goodness indeed. Junior guard Fiona Flanagan says she couldn't have done it without the fans.
I mean, they just stuck behind us the whole game. Like, we could feel their presence the entire game. Even when we weren't really playing that well or making shots, like, they believed in us the entire game, and we could feel that. And then, I mean, it was just as much for us as it was for them. Do you know what I mean? Like, to be able to do that at the DAC and in front of our fans was really, it was an amazing experience.
And those amazing fans celebrated with their championship team.
I was elated. I was so happy for this team because I think they were so deserving of a championship. They worked hard day in and day out, and that stretch of 6 games, what they showed, their resilience, their commitment to doing whatever we were asking as coaches, whatever their teammates were asking of them, and for them to finish a tough game, a close game with the championship was so special.
When our team won the championship, I felt amazing. I never won a championship in my life, so winning it with the team was the greatest feeling in the world.
I mean, I don't really think words can really describe the feeling of that moment. Just elation. I can't describe it. It was amazing. It was a great feeling, and to do it at the DAC was just unbelievable.
For D News, I'm Vincent Gazani.
Fans of the TV show Arrested Development are in a state of pure joy. Mike Giovinco tells us why.
Arrested Development is coming back to Netflix on May 26th. I'm here on Drexel's campus to find out what the students think about it and how excited they're feeling. Let's find out.
I'm pretty excited about the season 4.
I'm excited that they have resurrected something that should have been resurrected.
Excited are you?
I'm very excited. I actually just found out last week.
I'm very excited. I practically watch that show almost every week, over and over again.
I'm very excited. Me, my mom, and my sister, we own the whole season on DVD, and we watch it all the time.
Feeling pretty good. Can't wait to get up that morning. It's gonna be It's gonna be a sunny day. I'm gonna feel born and new, and I'm gonna open up my laptop, look at Netflix, and it's gonna be there. New Arrested Development.
Just waiting like a holy grail.
Yeah, biting my nails. I don't even have nails to bite, but I'm biting them anyway. And it's gonna be great. I'm gonna feel, you know, out of the womb again.
What about you, Gail?
Exactly the same.
I'm real excited. I think the humor is intelligent with a mix of wackiness, and I think Tobias Funke is a really awesome character.
Speaking of favorite characters, I decided to see just who pleases fans most on the show.
Okay? Because neither one of us wants to get divorced. And secondly, I know you're the big marriage expert. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Your wife is dead.
Maybe Tobias.
Probably Tobias.
Tobias.
Michael Bluth.
I like George Michael. What's the mother-grandmother's name?
Lucille?
Yes. Oh, gosh. She's hysterical.
I kind of like George Michael because he's kind of meek.
Tobias. You can't go wrong with Tobias. Oh, he's so good.
They're all characters that you have to love to hate. I think I probably hate Lucille the most. She just, like, makes my skin crawl every time she, like, delivers a line.
As any Arrested Development fan will tell you, there are many different ways a chicken can sound.
This family ever even seen a chicken?
I wouldn't be the fan that I am if I didn't ask to hear it from the fans themselves.
Oh, come on!
If it's not too much to ask, do you have a chicken impression for us? As I found out, there's a buzz in the air over the return of Arrested Development. Fans at Drexel are more excited than ever, and they'll only have to wait a few more weeks to hear those words again. It's Arrested Development. For DNews, I'm Mike Giovinco.
Want a gourmet meal on campus? Check out 33rd Street, the land of the food trucks. Drexel has become a hotspot for some of the best lunch trucks in the area. So we spoke to a couple of the owners to see what it's like running a business on four wheels.
Well, there's advantages and disadvantages. Obviously, the advantage is everything's right next to you. The disadvantage is everything is right next to you.
Josh Kim, owner and operator of Spot Burgers, flips up to 500 burgers in a day in his 4x8 trailer to customers new and old.
I know pretty much all my customers on a first name basis, know what they want before they even order it, and my customers have that interaction with me too. And that's something you lose in a storefront.
Since Spot landed on campus over a year ago, lunch trucks have continued to pop up around the block, including rival Coffee Brothers. It's owned and operated by Drexel alumni Jonathan Adams, who says, hey, we're driven.
There's been a great response to the trucks, so we thought it was a good way to kind of, get started with, our product and our coffee before we have a cafe.
And these trucks aren't struggling. They have lines down the block with busy students making time in between classes for a delicious snack. If you're looking for a midday pick-me-up, 33rd Street is the place to be. For DNews, I'm Courtney Thomas. Speaking of coffee, did you ever wonder how it transforms from bean to drink? We did.
Whether you like it hot, iced, or black, there's one thing most of us can agree on. Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee. But have you ever wondered what goes on before your coffee makes its way to your pot in the morning? I met up with Tom Ewing of Chestnut Hill Coffee Company and learned how your Morning Joe goes from green bean to cappuccino.
Our beans come from a lot of different origins. We deal with a company that deals with farms directly. The origins that we use the most are probably Mexican, Sumatran, Ethiopian. Those are our big sellers, and we put a lot of into our blends and our also for our single origin coffees.
Coffee beans start out green, so it's up to Tom to roast them to the point where they can be used for a nice cup of Java. Chestnut Hill roasts their beans right upstairs from the cafe.
So when I come in, the first thing I do is turn this guy on, set the temperature to 450, which is where you want to drop a batch of coffee for us if you're roasting 25 pounds, which is what we roast the most of. After that, it usually takes about 45 minutes to an hour and a half for this machine to get up to a temperature where you want to drop it. So the first batch that we'll do for the day, we weigh out over here the scale and drop it in here. This is called the charger, and that's where the coffee kind of hangs out and gets up to a similar temperature to what's here because it's attached to it. When it's ready to go, what we'll do is close the front of the drum right here and then open this, which has a flap in here that opens like that and drops all this coffee into this drum.
The drum has about 60 evenly spaced flames on a grill, and it turns so that all the beans get roasted evenly.
During that process, what any roaster is trying to accomplish is to keep what we call first crack and second crack within certain ranges and windows. Usually, first crack, when you start to hear like a pop, that is the waters and the oils inside emulsifying, and there's no room inside the bean anymore. And that's actually the sound of that kind of exploding out.
Sound a little similar to another favorite treat?
Roasting coffee is kind of similar to making popcorn. When you make popcorn, you have to wait for a long time, and then it starts a little bit slow. It picks up a lot of speed. It has its own speed, like momentum, as it builds.
Even with a machine that's made specifically for the job, it's still a very hands-on project. The roaster has to listen for the pops and cracks and keep an eye on the temperature.
As that starts to happen, we drop all those temperatures, and then it'll go through. You hear a lot of like rapid crackling and popping. That's everything going crazy in there. As it starts to slow down, we kind of start to bring the temperature back up a little bit, maybe open the flue a little bit more, so that as it approaches second crack, it's doing it as naturally as possible, but without letting it sit too long.
Once the coffee is at a temperature that seems right based on the sounds of the cracking and popping, Tom will drop the coffee down to cool, which takes about 10 minutes.
You crank on that cooler right there, which has an exhaust underneath this, and that pulls air through to help cool the coffee.
One batch, start to finish, takes about 30 minutes. Then it goes downstairs for sale.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we pride ourselves on here is that just like with the drinks downstairs, it's very hands-on. We have human beings up here. We're scooping the coffee with our hands. We're lifting it into the machine with our arms. And that's how we know that we're keeping control over the final product. I know what's going on from this step all the way until like I'm handing a cup to somebody or taking a cup myself.
How's that for a morning pick-me-up? For DNews, I'm Chelsea Calais.
Drexel welcomed students back to campus last month with an event that was a real drag.
The excitement on people's faces at this month's annual Drexel Drag Show during Welcome Back Week said it all. Participants dressed in clothes of the opposite gender and lip-synced a song in front of an audience.
You say that I'm kinda difficult, but it's always so.
Miss Lisa, a professional drag queen, hosts the longest-running drag show in Philadelphia every Thursday night at Bob and Barbara's Lounge.
I decided to enter pageants, and I started doing Miss Philadelphia. And then after that, I got really a little tired of the politics with the pageants, so I decided to just try myself at hosting and shows.
And what an incredible show Miss Lisa hosted. She introduced each contestant with a special flair before they tried to impress the judges with their outfit and their performance on stage.
Drag show is all about the illusion and the fun and the campiness of it, and just, over the top, big fun. Judges are always looking for how well a queen is put together, costumes, hair, jewelry, shoes, everything. You need to have the confidence, but not too much confidence, because if you go in thinking that you're going to win, chances are something's going to go wrong.
Crystal's confidence was what made her the crowd favorite out of the 12 performances by the local Philadelphian drag queens. She wowed the audience with her energetic performance of Blow Me by Pink. Drexel welcomed back the annual drag show. For DNews, I'm Jeff Sindrick.
Philadelphia recently hosted a show where everything old was new again. Here's Josh Weiss.
Entering its 52nd year, the Philadelphia Antique Show recently returned to the Convention Center for another celebration of long-forgotten treasures. With 63 exhibits this year, the pieces in the show are as diverse as they are interesting.
We purposely expanded, inviting more art dealers, and we asked the dealers also to bring more material into the mid-20th century. So you'll see a real variety of things, items and objects and paintings and quilts and glass and silver and pewter and everything.
Avery Gallery specializes in American paintings from the late 19th and early 20th centuries.
Well, we look for, a lot of things. Obviously quality. We want something that has good provenance. There are a series of artists that we're always looking for great things. William Frost Richards, any of the American Impressionists. So we always look for good condition, good provenance, how it's framed, the style and subject matter, and how that relates to the artist's body of work.
Buying privately and at auctions, the gallery sells to a very concentrated clientele.
People who are obviously interested in American paintings, and it is a select clientele. I wouldn't say that there is a broad reach. Typically our client is they're between 40 and 60 with, like I said, a very strong interest in American art.
Although paintings play a big part in the show, they are just the tip of the iceberg. Pieces can range anywhere from antique toys to hand-drawn maps.
I always liked the analysis of pictures and even graphics such as old maps, which all told a story and in different ways, depending on who the artist was, who was the engraver, the situations under which it was published. If you consider that sort of the history of printing goes back to the 1450s, we start with the 1450s, 15th century, and we can go 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and into the 20th.
Selling to a more educated group of people, the print shop has a little something for everyone. When it comes to his favorite piece, Donald goes for something simple and a bit obscure.
One of my favorites is something that just came our way. It's a map of Iceland, and it was done by a man named Abraham Ortelius. It's the first printed map to show Iceland. It was done in 1540 in Holland.
When it comes down to it, the antique show is a celebration of the phrase, one man's trash is another man's treasure. For D News, I'm Josh Weiss.
We're back here at the Urban Center. If you're an aspiring heavy metal singer, you'll have to work on your scream. Reporter Amy Guinan has more.
Hardcore rock singers sometimes have to scream, but screaming too much or in the wrong way can really hurt your voice. So, as part of International Voice Day, classically trained opera singer and voice teacher Melissa Cross showed aspiring screamers how to do it right.
You don't know me, and you're looking at me going, why does that girl teach something called scream?
Describing her singing style as simply anything passionate, Melissa trained metal rockers Lamb of God's Randy Blythe and Slipknot's Corey Taylor. Her training focuses mainly on the diaphragm.
It is a large muscle up inside the rib cage, and when it exhales, it inverts upward, and when it inhales, it inverts downward. It's a pump.
Melissa maintains the trick of screaming is visual imaging and becoming the sound when training.
To be inside your body when you are making a sound means that you cannot channel any other sound while you're doing it. Okay? You have to be the sound.
Cross says screaming properly takes an understanding of the mind and body to succeed.
There's a loop in the brain how the voice works, and it does not go where math problems are done. It's not done where any kind of left brain stuff is done. It is imaginative.
Finally, Melissa stresses that screaming is not as hard as one might initially think. As seen on her DVDs, The Zen of Screaming, she believes it is possible for almost anyone to fully master these skills.
Now, you can hear something that sounds like the beginning of death, right?
For D News, I'm Amy Guinan.
And that's a wrap from the Urban Center. Be sure to check out episodes of D News online. I'm Courtney Thomas, and thanks for watching. The production of D News has been made possible with the generous support of the Cal and Lucille Redmond Institute for Entertainment Industry Studies, the Office of University Communications, and the Antoinette Westphal College of Media Arts and Design.